You are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might of Bad Lieutenant MMA journalist. Wait for it. Of KNUCKLE! Woo! Welcome, my friends, to a show that apparently seemingly never ends. It's round number 316. I'm sorry for being late, but I've had a few drinks. And pretty much, I'd like to show you later. The text record of my text to Kid Nate tonight alone. I'm like, hey man, like this is fucked up. It won't let me do the show. And then I figure out what I'm doing wrong. I type back, never mind. And then I write him again. Hey man, it's disabled my account for Google Hangouts. And I figure it out. I'm like, never mind. I mean, come on. But first, the song that says it all. Here we go. Stigmata from Calling of the Just. The song is called Intro, All of Nothing. Could not see so clear. Real good look at you. I'm taking a real good look at your face. Being paid back in full, always nothing. All right, let's turn the music off. Welcome, my friends, to a show that apparently never ends. This is round number 316. I am your host, EUGENE S. Robinson, with the S standing for slightly inebriated. I just timed it wrong. You know, titration is the key. Look up the word titration. You can't drink it all at the beginning and then eat. You got to eat, drink. It's timing, baby. It's all about timing. You got to get it right or you're going to get it wrong. In any case, this is round number 316. I'm your host. I'm going to show you the text record in the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes between me. Well, it wasn't between me and Kid Nate because he refused to answer his phone, figuring correctly that this late on a Sunday night it's not going to be any good news. But can you read that? It's pretty much me complaining about stuff that never mind. Never mind. And now I got like a good thing going. So I just like want to keep like texting him with stuff like all through the night. It's like I was hanging out with this porn star once, right? And I've told you part of this story before, but it's like an onion. Each time they peel different parts of the onion back. And that's the deaf cat. And you know, remember the story where we're like in the St. Francis Hotel, or no, not St. Francis, the Fairmont, really hoity-toity fancy hotel in San Francisco. And she comes in the room and she like starts stroking my $800 coat, you know. What are you doing? She goes, I put it in the closet. It's acting really tweaky. And everybody in the room is kind of like looking. It's like really strange. And then she leaves. And I said, hey, what's the deal with Dominique? You know, and she says, well, she's on drugs, you know. I always get, because I'm always like the straight guy, like Abbott, you know, Bud Abbott. Like a buddy of mine told me he got Hep C, he got hepatitis. how'd you get that? He just looks at me and goes, don't be stupid. And I still don't know the answer to that question. I still have no idea how he got hepatitis. I mean, I guess his attitude with don't be stupid was you could have got it from shooting up drugs or could have got it through, you know, unprotected sex. He goes, I was probably shooting up drugs while having unprotected sex. What the fuck do you think? I didn't know. I still don't know, you know? So so people have to spell stuff out for me. I wasn't, you know, I'm not that conversant with the drug world. You know, I don't know those things. So so I leave. I take my leave, mind my own business. I got stuff to do. I just want to stop by and say hello. No, there was no hanky-panky. Just hello, how you doing? You know, when you write articles about porn stars, you have porn star friends. You're just hanging out, you know, or they're hanging out. They all got arrested like the next day, but I got in, I got out, nobody got hurt. But at 5 o'clock in the morning, I get this call from Dominique, and she says, you know, this misplaced pride that people who take a lot of drugs have. Well, I don't know what they told you about me, but I am not the one on drugs. They are the ones on drugs, and I just thought you should know that, okay? And I look at the timestamp, it's like 5:05 a.m. And I'm going, of course, all of my friends who are not on drugs call me at 5:05 a.m. to tell me that they're not on drugs. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. You know, we're not on drugs. I got you. You're not on drugs. Anyway, drugs have nothing to do with why we're here tonight. It's Knuckle Up number 316, UFC Fight Night 87, Rotterdam, which in my eye, 500, baby. Don't know where Kid Nate is on his toe cheek because I don't pay attention to his picks. But I don't pay attention. Well, I guess I got Smirk to handle that. So we'll find out in the comments later. Anyway, this was on Fight Pass, then Fox Sports 1. I only tell you that because of the extreme pain in the ass confusion I had. Well, look, hey, man, if I can't, I've done like over 400 of these shows, and I still can't figure out how to do it. So, look, I'm easily bamboozled. But I'm watching these fights, and it's like going to a restaurant. You know how when you go to a restaurant, you sit down, and the waiter or waitress comes by after you put 2 or 3 forkfuls in your mouth, and they go, how is it? You know, you're talking, and maybe you go, look, it's fine. I mean, what you really should say is, I haven't had time enough to digest the food that you've given me to be able to render an accurate description of the quality of the food in this establishment. I know you're trying to work for a tip, but right now I have no idea. You don't say that. You go, look, yeah, it's fine. Now, after you've had more than a couple of spoonfuls, when you have the whole, like maybe half a meal, and they come back, you have a pretty firm idea of what the meal is. And if it's only okay, you go, oh, yeah, it's good. But if it's great, you go, it's exceptional. 87, yeah, okay, it's good. I could just stop the show right now. Just stop the show right now because it was good. Was it great? Nope. Was it sucky? Nope. Was it good? I don't know. I know it was okay. I mean, and you know how I know that? I know that because I'm actually more geeked about my picks than I was about what my picks did to become my picks, or what my picks did to justify having been my picks. You know, I mean, MMA is in a really interesting place, and I don't know that the big brains that think about this are thinking about this. And I'm talking about these kind of inflection points where you're going along, and you know the standard as it's been established in the light heavyweights. You know, they developed this TV star as well as fighter with some kind of credential that people love because of this great bloody mess of a fight that he fought with Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. And you guys, oh my God, these guys are something else, and they're a name for a period of time. For a period of time, they're a name, and then a John Jones comes along, and you go, and like it's like that thing in the Matrix where all of us, it's some, I'm sure, of course, Photoshop effect where the very fabric of reality, where it kind of goes, right before he figures out he can fly before he's worked that one out, where the cement goes boom, boom, boom. And suddenly, if you didn't see him fight, I'm talking about Johnny Boney Jr. If you didn't see him fight Stephan Bonner, you don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm telling you, you could go along, perfectly okay. You're watching, the UFC. Let's go back. You're watching the UFC, and who's this kind of muscled up guy with wrestling shoes on? He's going against the Axe Murderer. Oh man, he's going against Vanderlei Silva. He's going to get killed, and he comes out of the box like a rocket. And it is Vitor Belfort. Hey man, I'm doing the show. I just had a question about Suriname, but I got my answer. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. So that was Coach Dream Crusher, who has now also picked up the sobriquet of Coach Pee-Pee Toucher. So depending on how you're feeling, it could be Coach Dream Crusher or Coach Pee-Pee Toucher. They both sound the same to me. So you Vitor Belfort, and you realize, man, we're in a different place now. The game has appreciably changed. In this political season, they're talking about stuff like game changers, but in actual fact, game changing is something that it's like something that crawls up the back of your spine and puts hair on the you makes your hackles raise, and you know that you're there. On the flip side, when you're not there, you know very precisely that you are absolutely not there. You probably, if you're the average person who is watching this show, you probably eat 3 meals a day. Most people do, unless you're Herschel Walker. You had a breakfast, something in the breakfast time zone, Frühstück, if you're in Germany. A lunch meal, kind of, and then a dinner or a supper or some kind of variation, all right? How many of those meals do you remember? Okay, say you're a baseball fan. You just fucking ate right a yowling. We feed him before the show, so I don't have to do the yowling. It's just he fell off a 10-story building, so he's slightly not right in the head. So, you've got these, you've got these inflection points, but the time that are not inflection points, they have to be times that can ride you through. Hockey games, soccer games, baseball games. What they've done is fill in the competitive spaces between their competitive spaces with the sport that you come to love and care about. But what's unusual about this sport is that it's not a team sport. It's an individual sport. You might have teams of individuals in that sport, but it's an individual sport, which means something very specific. It means it's heavily reliant on individuals, which seems like a syllogism, but it's very reliant on individuals, which means something super specific to me, where it's like going to a party. Now you go to the party, as you make your way, if you could have somebody like, I don't know if you use Runkeeper, one of these fitness apps, and it shows you, it draws a picture of your run, and if you got heavily into it, like I did at a certain point, you start to try to draw designs with your run. I'm going to draw a clover, it's like Lucky Charms, half moon, a clover. So if you were to have this kind of device at a party, you would note your movements at a party: bar, dance floor, buffet table, bathroom, bar, back porch. There is a rhythm inside this rectangular room where you're having your party. There's probably a rhythm to your motions, patterns that are not obvious to you. And it's the same. I'm hoping you're sticking with this. It's the same with any kind of sporting event on a long enough timeline, from Shoeless Joe Jackson to Bucky Dent to fucking Raleigh Fingers and Reggie Jackson. There's a rhythm to the game that those who are in the game are not paying attention to. And if you paid attention to the UFC, just sent something about the UFC Hall of Fame, and they have a breakdown for who goes into the Hall of Fame. Like different categories. You have legacy cats who go in. You have current. I mean, it's just a whole lot of different categories. I think there are 3 or 4 different categories of people who can go into the Hall of Fame. And similarly, what I'd like to do is look at the old list and see if when these guys were becoming Hall of Famers, you know, if these marked any of those inflection points where the game changed. Because I'm going to have to tell you that there's probably an amazingly obvious formula that I just can't see that makes you feel like you're looking at something special. All right. That is not to say that what we saw was not something special. However, I gotta tell you, the fights were good. But look at my face. Yeah, I've had a few drinks. That's got nothing to do with it. The fights were good, and then you realize something. The blame that I'm looking to place, I can't place it on the bald one. I can't place it on Zuffa. I can't place it on the fighters. You know, there was a time in America when everybody wore bell-bottom pants, and then they wore bell-bottom pants and platform shoes, and then they wore polyester bell-bottom pants and platform shoes. But people don't wear that now. Knowable but unknown. There was a point at which somebody said, "This shit is jive, and I'm going to seek out another fashion solution to bell-bottoms with platform shoes." And they did it. There's a reason why very few people, unless they're trying to be culturally ironic, are wearing bell-bottom, King Kong bell-bottoms with platform shoes, right? So the blame here is Popeye is back in the house after his shitting episode. He spent about 3 days sleeping outside, and then he doesn't sleep outside because he's afraid of everything. So 3 days outside, I thought he was going to die. He was looking really bad, so I brought him back inside, watching his ass very carefully. Very carefully. So, and I'm tired because if I hear him get up at night, then I'm up at night because, man, it's a drag to have to clean up that amount. He's a big dog. He takes any 85, 90-pound thing and have it shit all over. It's a drag. So anyway, back to my point. So you could take these Hall of Famers and mark these inflections, but there's got to be something that happens in the interim. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to find is there a place or a hook for the fan to hang their hat so you don't feel like you're jobbed, and it's nobody's fault. It's not Zuffa's fault. It's not the bald one's fault. I can't place it on any individual fighter. I can't even place it on my outblown expectations. I can't. I don't know why it happens, but it happens, right? I mean, I used to really like platform shoes, and now I don't wear platform shoes. Well, Eugene, would you wear platform shoes? Well, maybe if I could, but I, really no. Okay. So looking at the game, looking at these fights on the card, I have to say that these fights on the card in total were phantom toll booth, right? It wasn't pay-per-view. That's what that means. It was in that kind of purgatorial place where things that are not great and things that are not bad just kind of hang around, I mean, you ever have those couples that friends who are in those relationships that are like that? Like you really from the outside, you're looking at it, you go, I can't really see why they're together, but they seem to be doing, I mean, you're that desperate to not be lonely. I get, and it's the same thing. Are you that desperate to find significance in your life that this is what you're going to find yourself attracted to on a Sunday afternoon, on Mother's Day? Maybe they counted on the fact that it was Mother's Day and maybe fighters love their mothers. I don't know. I'm not saying that this was a bad fight. I'm not even saying it was a mint fight. There were good fights, but there's got to be what you're looking for. You're looking for, Gordon Moore from Intel, and he came up with Moore's theorem that the capacity of of a transistor, whatever, you know, some kind of doubles every year. It's the doubling thing, which of course isn't it. People keep waiting for the theorem to no longer be. Of course, it's no longer going to be good at some point because things can't double infinitely. And now they're making semiconductor chips with like out of biomaterial. Look, I'm not a science guy. You know this. So what I'm telling you in total, I always start these things out with, was the fight good? Was it bad? How do you feel? And I just feel I started my day like this, and then there was no poop episode, so I continued like this. I watched the fights, and it was just like there was a blip. There's the one blip I had was Tango. I went bang, and it was and I don't think you can tell me that you feel any differently. I mean, I'm super excited about my picks. Okay, Willie Gates and Sasaki. I didn't pick him. I didn't pick in this fight. In fact, I didn't actually care. I'm glad I didn't, because Kid Nate, being a Japanophile, would have picked Sasaki, and just to keep some action going, I would have picked Willie Gates, who lost second round. All right. I'm telling you something as well. It could be that I've been doing jiu-jitsu long enough, and I'm knowing I'll get to it later. But I'm seeing, and usually, dude, you notice this. Usually, I start with the headliner and go back. Because if I'm like this, that means the beginning is like the end of me. Leon Edwards and Dominic Waters. And I, of course, picked Waters, non-committed Waters. I cared about the fight, but not enough to make a pick. But like I have what do you say about something delegate, unspoken for delegate or something, that I kind of in a half-ass way picked Waters, and of course he lost. Now, Kid Nate, Smirk, I think, said in the comments, unchosen delegate, unpicked delegate or not, once you make a pick, that's it. Okay, so what he's suggesting is keep your mouth shut. You don't have no partial picks. It's like Nazis and Jews. Are you Jewish? Well, I'm half Jewish. Nazis are good. There's no such thing. No such thing. So I'm on the stinking dirty board already with Dominic Waters. Fucked my day. It's okay. It's okay. Horiguchi and Neil Siri. I picked Neil Siri because look, there were lots of reasons. I explained them on the Care Don't Care preview. It was pretty much a unanimous decision. I'm sure Neil Siri will come up, not pretty much, will come up with a reason for why it happened. I mean, Kid Nate, I think, picked Horiguchi. And just to give it some action, I picked Siri. Seeing the Japan hype train stop or stall or something. In any case, so now I'm 2 down. But then I had another half-ass pick with Jan Cabral and Reza Madadi, and I've been burned by Cabral before, so I picked Reza, and Reza won. He's TKO by the 3rd round. But you notice I'm not talking about these fights because what? What? You see something worth talking about? Yes, there were 2 guys fighting, and Josh Emmett, John Tuck didn't care about. Magnus Sedemblad and Gareth McClellan didn't care about. Sorry, guys. Well, I already said sorry on the Care Don't Care. Kobylarov and Chris Wade. I picked Kobylarov, and he won. So I'm on the board now. I'm on the board now with a win. He got kicked in the head pretty amazingly in the 1st round. And went down, you know, but then Chris Wade was just, it was like fighting these Russian, Dagestani, Georgian cats. It's just Bilo-Russian. It's just a different thing, man. It's just the pain. It's like why some of us started to fight in the first place, because we discovered that the pain of running away from a fight was just much worse than whatever pain that we stumbled into as a result of getting our asses kicked. It was hard to live with. And I think, you know, these guys from that part of the world, it's the same thing. You know, the Chechnya, Dagestan. Hey! Chechnya, Dagestan. It's like, man, I got to go home. I got to back to the factory. I got to tell everybody that this is what happened. No. Popeye! Stop the snoring. And now he gives me a look like he's been betrayed. Come on, go lie down in the kitchen, man. So there's something that these guys, I saw a guy at the World Ballet Tudo Championship in St. Petersburg, Russia, get his jaw broken in a super obvious way. And of course, it's like a pro wrestling ref. The guy's looking some other way. He's like, didn't care. That Armenian cat finished that fucking fight and won it. And how do I know his jaw was broken? At the after party for the fighters, he was sucking his alcohol through a straw because his jaw had been wired shut. They're not gonna fucking lose. He got kicked in the head as solidly as anybody could have gotten kicked in the first round, and was it didn't even like, it was like not a flash knockout. He was down and back at it. And I think that more than anything shook up Chris Wade. Chris Wade is a talented cat, talented fighter, but you know, against the guy who's against the tank, like my old joke, remember, with the Italian army, against the tank, what are you gonna do? And he seemed kind of addled afterward in the post-fight interview when they're talking to Krylov, but it could just be that English is not his first language. But that fight, I was glad that Rustam won, and he's a tough fucking guy. But you know what? Let me make another analogy, another parallel. Have you heard hip hop lately? Man, there's a whole sensitive boy hip hop, you know, and that type of hip hop, you know, that stuff. And it just goes on and on and on. It never ends. And like, if you've got hip hop delusions of grandeur, you're like, man, I'm gonna be big and I'm gonna do some hip hop that, like, there's this guy I know, and he's like doing some sensitive boy hip hop where he's like, he's got two videos. One, he's dealing drugs, and the other one where he's being all pensive about the brothers who ain't here. He's pouring out wine, and he's like looking all pensive. And it's like, hey, man, hey, don't you know 30,000 other fucking guys did that? Somebody, I mean, what's glorious about these inflection points, by dint of will, or by dint of will, or creativity, imagination, or intuition, what happens is suddenly a dramatic moment of this day is unlike any other day. You go back and you watch that Stephan Bonnar, Johnny Boney Joni fight, and you see that everybody, their expectations of what was going to happen that day completely stalled. They ceased existing. Rustam Krylov, I love this guy. He was my pick, and there were exciting moments in that fight. But at any given point during that fight, I could have gone to take a poop. I could have gone and played with Papa. I could have gone and walked away. I could have gone to pick the cats. I could have gone and come back, and it wouldn't have made a difference. And that shit is heartbreaking. This is why I drink. This is why. This is why I'm not drinking for myself. So then you move up the card a bit, and then Heather Clark and Karolina Kovakiewicz. Fuck it, I don't know. I can't pronounce it. I don't speak Polish very well. Don't care. Had I cared, I would have picked the Polish woman, and she won by unanimous decision. It's a good fight. It was a good fight, you know. But again, you got Francimar Barros and Nikita Krylov, who has changed his fight nickname from Capone to something else, looking for all the world actually like Forrest Griffin. I kept having to put my glasses on and look like this. He's rocked the beard, and he's no longer doing the Al Capone thing, so he's not coming in with the fedora. And this was, you know, light heavyweight guys who, again, you're doing the math in your head. We pay attention so closely. It's like, okay, are any of these guys going to be in any position to challenge Johnny Boney Johnny anytime soon? I don't think so. But what about after he abandons light heavyweight for heavyweight? What about then? Well, then they'll be looking up at either a soon-to-be retired Daniel Cormier or Teixeira. Essentially, these guys are, I mean, I picked Krylov, who won, so now I'm 2-2. I'm 3. 1, 2, 3 and 2. So I'm up 1. But I didn't see any super flashes of brilliance, and I don't want to talk down the fighter. It's like if, you know, if Shark Tank, if Tektronic are doing sensitive boy rap, I'd be a fool to do any other kind of rap unless I was an artist. Inflection point hip hop, you could feel it. Wu-Tang Clan, nobody had heard stuff like that. Public Enemy, but you know, people who listen to punk rock, people were saying punk was dead in the late 70s because everybody was getting old. They were going either in and out of rehab or dying from the drugs they were doing. And there was a punch in the face, and that punch in the face was hardcore. Inflection point. And all of a sudden, you knew things were never going to be the same. All those old punk rocks, some of those guys tried to hang out, couldn't hang, disappeared. Kids came from the Brooklyn, from the boroughs, bridge and tunnel people, and we just fucked shit up. It was totally different. Things were never the same again. After, where are we now? After Barroso and Krylov, do you have that feeling? I don't want to talk these guys down. I don't want to talk down the 30,000 sensitive boy hip hopper. You know, guys just doing what he's doing. He likes music, you know. There are lots of people there are even people who are technically super proficient and can play, but will never stumble across a good idea in their entire fucking lives. And that's heartbreaking. In other words, journeyman. Why do you think the word average, what do you think it means? Most things are in that average range. Most meals at restaurants are average. You know, most drinks at a bar are average. You know, most of us are average. That's what average means, right? But you know, you're asking for commitment. I'm not saying, you're starting to feel like I might be saying it's Joe Silva's fault. I'm not saying it's Joe Silva's fault. It's a sport of individuals, individual sport, and a sport of individuals. I'm not blaming them either. It's just the way the cookie fucking crumbles. All right. So, I mean, I thought these guys were sloppy, and if the I love Francimar Barroso had some heart. I love the heart that he showed, you know, but realistically, I don't see him breaking into the top 5. So what am I watching? B-League stuff when I think got better things to do, like call my mother. I called my mother early, so I got, you know. So Anna Almos and Hermaine Durandamy. Okay, Jermaine, we call her Jermaine, is not only a friend of Knuckle Up, been on the show twice. Now she's a known associate, but she's a team member. She trained for the 2 years at Team Surround. I've rolled with her, trained with her, so she's in my book. I called her to win. She won. Neither the guts, but she's in the category in my mind with like her countrymen, Overeem, Congo, somebody who is not naturally a ground person, but who is actually taking it seriously enough to keep from getting taken down in a smart way. Or able to be, once taken down, deliver damage. And then stand up and drop this girl with a knee to the breadbasket. I've seen her use it, seen her put down Coach Dream Crusher. She is mighty and tough. And then in the press conference, they're asking her if she's going to face Cyborg. She goes, of course, it interests me because Cyborg is super interesting. I've been watching her very carefully, but you know, I'm sort of interested in the belt at this point. Good answer, smart answer. You know, Jermaine's smart. Excuse me. Jermaine is in terms of her awareness of place and placement. I mean, it's just this kind of Dutch groundedness, you know. I had an embarrassing moment where I was asking somebody, I was a Dream Crusher, about her father, and he goes, her father's Suriname. And I go, oh, Asia. because her mother in the UFC package about her was very blonde, but her skin is brown. I asked if her father was black. No, her father's from Suriname. I go, Asia. He looks at me like I'm an idiot. Now, I get lots of idiot looks from Dream Crusher, but usually it's about the quality of my jiu-jitsu. This time it was about geography. He goes, where do you think Suriname is? I go, it's in Asia. He goes, oh, man. I always heard Americans were stupid, but I go, what are you talking about? It's in, but he goes, it's not. It's in South America. I go, you're the dumbass. He goes, it's not a, well, it turns out I was confusing Suriname with Siam, right? Siam, where Siamese cats come from, the king and I, Siam. That's what I was confusing. Okay, but you know, Siam hasn't been called Siam since 1948 when they changed the name to, yes, Thailand. Suriname is near Belize, is in the top part of South America. Dream Crusher was right. Probably right about a good many things. So I mean, I love when they bring up Cyborg's name because it's a conversation stopper, which really chafes my fucking hide. Do you know what it must be like to be Christina Cyborg's Justina Santos? She's got a million names now. I mean, it's like, you know, she's like Sean Shirka. So I remember Sean Shirk when he was training, AKA, was like, Javier Mendez was talking about it. He goes, he's in a fuck position. Nobody will fight him. He's too tough to not take seriously, and he's not a big enough name. He just kind of was there, and then he wasn't. I mean, we all know that the gate through which people should step should have had something to do with Cyborg, but nope. Fuck that. Watch the video. Nah, son. Yeah, she got busted for drugs. Yeah, well, a lot of people do. You know, people, I'll fight whoever the UFC puts in front of me. That's not a wise thing to say always. You know, I had a fight in the jungle in Amazon, MMA fight against Francisco Chico Bueno, which I signed up to do and would have done had they actually paid me. At first, it started with $5,000, and it was $500, and then it was just the airplane ride, and then it was like, well, could you pay for the air? We'll reimburse you, and you got to pay for the hotel. I was like, nah. Why don't you just put me in the poster and get some Negro from the jungles, from the rainforest? You don't need me to fly down there to get my head beaten in so you can get some money from Global TV that I won't be getting. Fuck off with all that. So yeah, Jermaine delivered, was smart all the way through. Delivered, made the locals happy, put down, this was her debut, Anna Elmos, who was actually a lot tougher than I thought she was going to be. But Jermaine put her down happy. So I'm on the list. So I'm cruising along now. I'm 4 up. I got 4 right and 2 wrong. I'm doing all right. And then I hit Gunnar Nelson and Albert Tumanov. You know, Gunnar needed to win this fight, and he won the fight. Gunnar, I described him on the Care Don't Care preview as the Icelandic Eric Silva, but there's one difference. The fact that Eric Silva's head is gone is palpably obvious. It was like a friend of mine once said, have you ever looked at a cow and been confused about whether it was a cow or not? No, you look at it and it's a cow. I look at Eric Silva and I can see Eric Silva is just not there, man. I mean, he's there, but the there that he is thin and icy and thin. And it's not his skills or his talent, it's his head. It's his head. Well, fortunately, the Icelandic temperament is a little bit more stolid, a little bit more phlegmatic. And Gunnar Nelson came in cool as a cucumber. And Tumanov has had a good run, and I've never bet against an off. Kabalov, Tumanov. These guys have a different take, I think, but he got caught. Now, the choke he got caught in, this is the beginning of me talking shit about these guys in their jiu-jitsu. Who was it? Somebody just tapped by it. a black belt got tapped in one of these undercard fights. I don't remember who it is now, and I was like, oh man, you are a black belt and you just got tapped. Man, was that I mean, I don't remember who it was now at this point. Let me see if I can go back and figure it out. Yeah, anyway, that's an inside defense jiu-jitsu thing, but this this hurts. So this neck crank that he put on Tumenov, it was a legitimate crank, and I'm sure in the heat of battle, you don't want to not tap to something like that. There's a difference between a punishment hold and a submission hold. You know what it is. A punishment hold is I could tap or not tap, and it's just a measure of how tough or stupid of a guy I am. But I'm not going to be damaged or permanently damaged. It's just unpleasant. A submission hold, if I don't tap, I'm not getting up from this mat healthy. Where does a neck crank? Are you going to force a guy to break your neck? Will a guy actually break your neck? I mean, that's a great thing about grappling arts. You know, he can't say, well, I didn't know, unless it's a heel hook or something like that. You know, if he's counting on you, you know, I can see the guy doubling down and getting angry. It's like, you're going to make me hurt you. You're really going to make me fight. And then you just, fuck, why did you do that? Why did you, or you let him go and readjust like that time, who was it? One of the Gracies, Hoyce, was about to get his arm broken by Matt Hughes. And he was like, screw it. And he could see Matt Hughes go, I'm not going to break his arm, man. I know I got him. You know, I was going to, dude's not going to tap. He could have the ref pull him off, but he's not going to tap. So Tumenov, it seemed to me, Tumenov, what were the other submissions on it? I should go back and talk about these submissions because I thought that these were janky submissions. And I don't want to talk about a guy. Yeah, it was Barroso, who's supposed to be a black. Barroso is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a black belt, and he got rear naked choked by KRYLOV. That was a rear naked choke that I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't know what kind of oxygen debt he was in, but come on, you tap to that. You gotta be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. It was a tap of somebody who is not used to doing jiu-jitsu. That's what it was. Now, I don't know if you've been spending 6 months boxing or working on something else, but that tap and Tumenov's tap are taps that I'm looking. If I've been watching the fight with somebody, I'd look from side to side. Was it a too early tap or too late? It was a sensible tap. Again, we're in that average range. It's okay. It's okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't sucky. Average. So then, you know, I'm getting hyped up for the co-main event. I got Bigfoot and Struve. So now 1, 2, 3. Tumenov fucks me over, puts me down to 3. But, you know, I'm all right. I'm going to bounce back with Struve. Now, I swore to God I picked Struve. I swore to God I picked Struve, but your hips don't lie. You see my little scribbly? I put Bigfoot. And I was trying to think, maybe I meant that, because there's some scribble after it, maybe I really meant Struve, and I just got confused. And I'm saying, look, I would have to watch Care Don't Care to guess, but I'm going to have to believe what I've written. And I think what I said is, you know, I mean, I've often said that Bigfoot makes such a delightfully wonderful big target, but that I thought that Struve's head was gone. I forgot about the hometown. You know, before I made that pick, I wasn't really mindful of the fact that it was in Rotterdam, you know, and I just wasn't. I wasn't thinking. I was casually rushing, but I'm going to take responsibility for that. I picked Bigfoot. He's been looking shaky as of late. He knew he was on notice. Didn't want to look bad. Came in with a different look. You know, with the hair, he's like maybe he's dating again or something. He's got the hair and the well-coiffed beard. Looks nice. Different guy, different cat. And got knocked the fuck out. You know, knocked the fuck out. KO'd. KO'd. Is he Lost Battalion? Hasn't he been? Can somebody be Lost Battalion and still be fighting? I don't know, but I don't think he knows quite where he is. Which means that his level of unawareness could clearly maybe result. I think if he's got people around him who care about him, we're looking at career changes and other sports beckoning. And that's sad. But what's sadder is staying in the game. Like Chris Rock said, you're not too old to be there. You're not too old. You're just too old to be there. So I'm down. Now it's like the last rush. I got picked Waters, Siri, Tumanov, and Bigfoot. That's 4. So it all hinges on Overeem and Arlovski. And this was another fight. Arlovski came out fighting like a demon. He actually looked really good. And interesting, I spent most of the fight looking at Overeem's body. I'm like, man, by seeing your body now, Jack, I am coming close to some reasonable estimation about what you were taking before and how much. In case you guys don't know, I am an anabolic steroid expert, having spent many a year on them. I look at him and his body looks healthier and wholesomer. It looks much more normal now than ever. But he was taking bodybuilder levels of shit based on what I saw before. And I'm guessing now he's been clean at least a year. But this fight in and of itself, beforehand, Arlovski came out, older style, again, inflection point. Stylistically, it was like he had showed up in platform shoes and bell-bottom pants. It was UFC of old. And Overeem, who has, Overeem is Overeem. Eventually, caught dude with, what did he catch him with? A knee? I don't remember. It was a kick. That's what it was. It was a knife. It was a Anderson Silva kind of clink here, and he was still, but just beat enough so he came over with his crushing hook, took dude down. Arlovski, 38 years old, man. 38 years old. I look at Arlovski, I feel like he's older than me, which I know is hard to be possible. I've been wearing my old man jiu-jitsu shirts with my face on it. It's wonderfully meta. And some guy commenting "Oh, that's as bad as being on stage wearing your band's T-shirt or some others." I go, I do that too. You do realize that if you are not for you, then who shall be for you? Yeah, I just made that up. It's not in the Bible or anything. I just actually made, like John just said, literally made that up. It's across the room. I don't have the patience to get up and go get it. You know what they look. If you go to the Facebook page, or if you're Twitter, you have to. I don't like anybody coming with the Twitter thing. I'll let you in, but I want to know who it is. No anonymous parties. I don't give a shit with Twitter. And the benefit is, if I know who you are, then I put interesting shit there, and I don't really care. I just want to look into your abyss. You look into this abyss, I look into your abyss. It looks into each other. I look into you. You look into me. I went Chico Marx there for a second. So, Overeem, he fights an all right fight. Takes Arlovski out, 38-year-old Arlovski. He's 36 himself. He's up there. His physique has returned to nice and normal. He didn't, he displayed. It was fight IQ. It was an interesting fight. This is why you need, Tony Montana stands up from the table and staggers around looking remarkably like Conor McGregor or Honda Housey or Johnny Boney Jones. It's like, you fucking people, you need people like me. people you can point at and there goes the bad guy. You know, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are tonight, but dollars to donuts, the people who I mean, do you think Joe Rogan was at home watching? You know the bald one was, because he and his mother don't get along. So, you know, do you think Goldberg was tuning in? I'll read the reports later. I don't need to watch. So in the end, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4 wrong. I don't remember what Kid Nate had. I'm sure Smirk will figure it out. There were some who were going up, some who were going down. Gunnar is back. I'm saying, tentatively back. What does back mean? Well, back means that he's back in the fucking Phantom Toll Booth. At least he's not Lost Battalion, but you can't fight your way to Lost Battalion. He was never really there because he was too young and too much of an up-and-comer. But, you know, Barroso, had you heard about him before? You know, the guy's got 23 fights, 18 wins. He's not a bum, but he's not a bum either. Stephen Struve, well, we were worried about him with the fracture and then the Mark Hunt fight. And, you know, could he be the future of – I don't know. Was this fight somehow necessary? It was in Rotterdam for a reason. Why was it in Rotterdam? Maybe it was a sop to the Dutch fighters, of whom, you know, Overeem and Herman were 2 on the card, I think, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't want to be really negative about it. I love the sport. I love the sport. And maybe if I had an easier time finding the fights, I didn't have to do like a squirrel with the nuts to get these freaking fights, I wouldn't be so put out. And I know these guys are there's blood, sweat, and tears, and that they're, you know, they're killing themselves. They're killing themselves. But you know what? I'm an actor. I've been on TV and movies. The sole major movie I've been in a few movies, indie films, but the sole big one is Leonard Part 6. What do you think that says about my acting prospects? Do I let it bother me? Not really. I'm just trying to find a place to park my pity, because these guys are killing themselves. But, you know, there's a time when you wake up, you stagger into the piss pot, you look in the mirror and you go, I'm average. I'm average. Get as angry as you want at Connor McGee, but if Connor McGee had sent a tweet, had tweeted out some crazy shit if at noon today he had tweeted out some crazy shit, all eyes in the room would have looked. He could have been pissing behind the juniper bushes at the 7-Eleven across from the arena where they showed the fight, and they would have drawn he would have drawn a crowd. Punching above his weight in social media, people would have paid attention and cared. Sometimes it's not enough to be a great fighter. This is the thing that I want to know: are which great fighters have managed to not move emotional needles? Right? I mean, there's one who's on the tip of my tongue who was like, not GSP. People had GSP changed over time, but started with strong feelings about GSP. Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman was undefeated for a long time before he lost to Luke Rockhold. And people just, his Q rating was very low. Just had no feeling for the guy. He's like, look, I'm like Larry Holmes. I'm the best. I beat the best guy. I'm the guy. It's like, yeah. Oh, look, hey, there's Mike Tyson. Boom. Everybody goes. My kid, and she's in 8th grade, said a friend of hers, when the school year had started, looked at this quiet, lonely girl and friend of my daughter's like, look at her, she's just over there. Nobody's talking to her. And people say, oh, well, we've talked to her before, you know. I said, no, I'm going to go befriend her. Goes over and she's befriending this girl at the beginning of the day. And by the end of the day, she wanders back to where my daughter is and she goes, I'm about to lose my mind. Why? This girl is the most dull person I've ever met. Or flashback to 1979, New York City graffiti-stained subway. Young Eugene Robinson steps on and sees that there's a guy sitting on the subway and nobody's sitting next to him. And he's a little bummy, but I like, what? He's bummy. So what? He's bummy. Will this blind me to my connection to a fellow human being? Am I so callous and cruel that this man just calling out to me for help, for a little bit of a show of brotherhood, that I would deny him this? In his anguish, that I would turn my back on him. I go, you people disgust me. And I plop right down next to him. And it takes approximately 27 seconds for the tendrils of body stink to make its way to my nose. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a reason people weren't sitting next to him. And now they're looking at me, waiting. Yeah, I don't know what trying to point you were trying to make, buddy, but we got a front row seat. This is going to be wonderful. And I sit there, and then I go, oh, it's my stop. And I get off. It wasn't my stop. I couldn't give them the satisfaction of getting it. So that's where we are right now. I want to be supportive. I want to sit down on that UFC subway and be completely supportive. And I know these guys have a hard job. I want to recognize our common bonds. That you're just out there trying to do your best. You're like us. We're all trying to do our best. And then the tendril of stink gets to my nose. I go, look, it's not even stink. It wasn't a bad fight, was it? They were good fights, weren't they? They were not for us. This is what the Baldwin once said when people complained. Why the fight started at 11 o'clock? Why? This is not for you. It's for a different market. I have to say it wasn't for us. I don't know who it was for, but it wasn't for us. I got it. Okay. Thanks for a good night of fights. Good afternoon of fights. Call your mother. Wish her a happy Mother's Day. I did. Day's not over if you're on the West Coast of America. I don't want to end I don't want to go to a movie and I went to see the movie Keanu. It's pretty amusing. I'm telling people it's pretty amusing. I don't want to come out of any movie going, I'm like holding my fire on Civil War. I want to go see it. But, you know, at a certain point with all these superhero movies, I feel like it's 2 hours of watching a guy jump up and down and scream at me. There's clearly a point at which these guys go into fucking, you know, standard mode and it's just shit blowing up and it's just, you know, story. That's why Mad Max was so great. Story was all the way through. So I don't want to read a book, watch a movie, a TV show, go to a band, and I want to be changed by the experience. And don't give me that shit. What else do you want, Eugene? It was a good fight. Why are you complaining about what it? Man, I'm just talking about how I'm spending the very clear, finite time I have left on this planet. And you too. Unless you're a vampire, you know what I'm talking about. When they do the accounting of your life at the end of your days, will this fight risen to the occasion of like, it's a good thing that happened? I don't know. I don't know. So I don't want to shit on the fight. My picks were good. I'm over 500. These guys, I was glad to see these guys fighting clean, fighting well, new looks, you know. But it was a pretty average outing. And that's the truth. And that was my impression of Robert Blake doing Beretta, for those of you who don't know. Anyway, we're going to see you next week with If I Did It, PR Kerfuffles, Care Don't Care preview. And if you look below, if you're still listening, if you look below the intro when it runs on Bloody Elbow tomorrow, I'm going to put a link from an Ozzy article I did on creative collaborative combatives. It's fucking genius. It's like MMA and sculpting. I'm not even fucking kidding you. MMA and oil painting. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I got video with the article. I'll put the link below in the intro stuff. My God, it's great. You got to see it. And you go in, people have headgear. They got knee pads on. They go in. I'm not kidding you. Oil painting and fighting. Together, again, it's great. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Look what you made me do!